So, hi guys, welcome to Real Talks with Pings. So, as we all know that we are still on lockdown in Lesotho, so we'll be bringing some episodes on Zoom, especially when we need to interview guests that are not in the country. Hi Mondas, how's Australia?
Hi, it's hot, pretty hot. We're having one of the heat waves today, actually.
Oh, okay. This side it just rained and we're still on lockdown. How is COVID that side?
Not as bad as over there, but they're super strict. Okay. They're more strict than over there, but here it's not as bad.
Oh, okay. No, that is fine. So, Real Talks with Pinks. Today we have a special guest all the way from Australia. We are going to talk about a very interesting topic, and I've always wanted her to come to the show. So that whether we are on lockdown or not, she was still gonna be interviewed over Zoom. So can you please introduce yourself to our guest, Mondas, and then I will introduce the topic of the day.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mosotho. I'm from Lesotho, but currently based in Sydney, Australia, like Pinky has already said.
Oh, okay. Don't you want to mention you have kids, blah, blah, blah?
A mother of two.
Okay. No, that is fine. So today we are going to talk about interracial marriage or interracial relationships. So we have Mondas on the show, like she's already introduced herself. So I'm just going to ask you as the first question, Mondo, can you tell us your love story, how it all began? And first of all, have you ever, when you were growing up, did you ever see yourself being in an interracial relationship, or it sort of happened?
Okay, like Pinky have said, I'm in interracial marriage. As my husband is an Australian, I don't think anyone, let me say me. I never saw myself in an interracial relationship when I was growing up, especially because there was like lot of judgment around that. So I guess when we were little, like it wasn't something that we thought about it. I met my husband when I was doing my master's here in Australia 11 years ago, got married and moved back to Africa. We lived there to Lesotho. Back to Lesotho. I'm used to saying Africa when I'm here, when I'm referring to Lesotho. So if I happen to say Africa again, know that I'm referring to Lesotho.
No,
so
that's
back to Lesotho, and we lived over there for almost 3 years after we got married.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. Let me pick up on what you said, that you went to do your master's in Australia and then you met your husband and you guys moved back to live in Lesotho. I know a couple of people who meet their partners probably abroad or here in Lesotho, and then one never comes this side to come and understand the culture. Why did you guys decide to move back home after getting married?
So when I came here to study, it was for the first time I lived away from home. So it wasn't easy for me. Like I was getting homesick badly, and I was like, I can't live away from home. So this is a funny story. After he proposed, I said yes. And then on our way back, I was thinking, we were on the train. I'm like, what have I done? What have I done? I can't live here. I just didn't think about what that means. I just said yes and didn't think. And he's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just thinking about the assignment that's due tomorrow. He's like, are you all right? I'm like, yeah. When you got home, I'm like, we need to talk. We need to talk now. I took out the ring out of my finger. I was like, I meant it when I said yes, but I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't live away from home. And he said, is that the only reason you're returning my ring? I said, yes. He slid it back in my finger and said, I'll come with you.
Oh, that's romantic.
That was it. That was it, yes. And then he came over.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So let me ask you, do you still get those stares or those frowns at people looking at you guys, maybe when you are walking around, sort of trying to wonder what is happening with these two people? This one is black, this one is white. Do you still get those after 10 years of marriage? And also, congratulations. I know you celebrated your 10-year anniversary last December. So that's a good one.
Thank you. The stares, like we live in the city in Sydney, it's cosmopolitan, so we don't get a lot of stairs. But surprisingly, we used to get a lot of stairs back home, especially in Bloemfontein. Like when we're in Bloemfontein, I will just feel people's eyes piercing on us. We used to get a lot of stairs, but here, no, we don't. We don't.
Okay, so I guess now people are getting used to interracial relationships, that side. Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
No, that is fine. So let me ask you a big one. I'm sure our viewers are keen to know about this. So what major challenges do you guys face as a result of different cultures and different backgrounds? Obviously, you grew up in Lesotho, he grew up in Australia. So what are those major challenges because of that culture difference?
So in our case, we got lucky. There are two main things that worked in our favor. Mm-hmm. He's well-traveled. So my theory is someone who is well-traveled is aware of cultural differences. He's aware that there is no culture that's superior over the other. They're just different. And they adjust to cultures. Mm-hmm. And taking him to Lesotho also helped a lot. He got to see me in my environment, see me how I interact with people, how Basotho interact. Mm-hmm. So that helped a lot. But at the beginning, I'll just make an example of, you know how we are back home. Mm-hmm. If you are next to my house, you are somewhere by my house, you're like, oh, by the way, Mondo lives here. Oh, I haven't seen her in a while. Let me go pop in, right? Mm-hmm. You don't have to call and say, hey, I'll be there. And then we'll be at home relaxing and the next thing, knock.
Of course.
He looks at me, are you expecting? And I'm like, no. And then I get up, someone comes and we are fine. And then he'll be like, why do they just turn up without telling us? I'm like, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. So now my African friends, I have a Zimbabwean friend here. I always tell her that, let's just do it African way. If you want to come to my place, just come. If I'm not there, you'll bounce. If I'm there. Yes, and then he relates with them so well. He understands them so well because he got to get the taste, like the living experience. Mm. So that helped us a lot.
Okay, that's an interesting one. I know they kind of find it quite impolite.
That people, come. But like living in Lesotho, he just got to understand it. He understood me better. Like when I say I'm homesick on Christmases, he understands because he saw how we celebrate Christmas back home. Mm-hmm. And he knows what I'm missing. Okay. So that really, really, really helped.
Okay. Okay, that is fine. Okay. You said you have 2 kids. You and a husband have 2 kids. I think you have a boy and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So
a boy and a girl, yes.
Okay. So tell me, how do you guys, you and your husband, how do you navigate raising mixed kids and making sure that they have an identity? I think people would want to know. So do I say my kids give Basotho? Do I say my kids are Australian? So how do you make sure your kids have an identity? And just how do you navigate raising mixed kids?
My daughter says she's an African.
Okay.
My son says he's an Australian. I leave it to them to decide. But both of them, they've got Sotho names and they know their Sotho names.
Okay.
So my daughter is Naila Unati, Zulu. Okay. She has the Zulu name because Ramatebele.
Okay.
My son has Zulu name, which is Luatle, and Zulu name as well. So they know that their names. I try to get them connected to my culture. I teach them our games, mm-hmm. like Khati. Mm-hmm. Naila knows how to play Khati and sing Mpele. She knows how to khiba and sing the Makhibo songs. Unfortunately, with the boys, there were no boys at home, so
it's a tricky one.
But yeah, it's a tricky one. I try to teach them Sotho they write, they know a few words. I tell them a lot of stories about our games, like how in Lesotho we play mantlwane, what we do. Like I just try to get them to have that African thing in them, to be connected with it in a way.
Okay.
Yes, and also there's a book. Fortunately now there are a lot of, like you said, mixed couples raising mixed kids. So there's a book that's about we have the same blood, something like that. Teaching kids about different skins and different hairs and different what, and teaching them that it doesn't matter how we look, but we have the same blood. So fortunately, them being mixed hasn't been a problem. I pray that it won't be a problem. At school, they still interact well with friends. Friends haven't. It was my daughter when she was 3. She came home and she said, "Mama, I want my hair to be like Liana." Liana is half Japanese, half Australian. She has this beautiful straight hair, the Asian hair. And I'm like, darling, you know what? We have different hairs, but we are all beautiful. And guess what? Liana wishes she had hair like yours. But you're beautiful with your hair. I emphasize that. I just want them to accept themselves. I don't want them to feel like they're less prettier because they're mixed. Yeah.
No, that is fine. I like how you are teaching them diversity, because I also think even if we are also not in mixed relationships, but our kids must understand that there are different people in the world, but no race is superior than the other. So I think it's a good one that you are teaching them diversity.
Definitely.
That's very important. And there are so many series about this, books, like you said. People can get the knowledge everywhere these days.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask this one. I'm sure my viewers are waiting. They're just like, Pinky, get to that one that we want. Is it as glamorous as people make it out to be? I don't even know how to. I froze. No, I'll be back.
Okay, you're back.
It's the connection technology, but otherwise, when you see on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and all else, YouTube, everywhere. I don't know how to ask this one, but it's as if when you are in an interracial relationship, there's something really out of the ordinary or special, or people sort of glamorize it. Is it as glamorous as people make it out to be?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's just a relationship like any other relationship. The only difference is the skin color. Trust me, it's just a relationship like any other. And like I even forget, like sometimes when people ask me like, how does it feel to be married to a white man? I'm like, oh, he's white. Like I even forget that my husband is white. Because it's just a relationship like any other. There's no that glamour.
And you guys fight like all other couples. You go through stuff.
Oh, of course. Oh my goodness. We go to bed not talking to each other. Just like any other relationship, any other couple. There's nothing different. Nothing at all, trust me. Nothing.
So what is the hype about it, or other people when they are, I don't know how to put it in English, but sometimes when your relationship has shown you flames, there are people who are just like, oh, what is that thing?
Yeah, I hear that a lot. And I'm like, guys, I live with them here. They're just like any other man. They're just men. Like white women married to white men, they experience same problems as you guys. Like it doesn't mean by default when you meet the white man, woohoo, God answered my prayers. No, happily ever after. No. I tell them all the time, like, stop searching for white men. Search for a man who loves you and respects you.
Yes.
It's only the color.
I do think that a relationship is mainly based on love and how your characters interact. And really, I've never thought about it in terms of color myself.
Definitely. I always say, if white men were such saints, there wouldn't be so much divorces in Western countries.
Mm-hmm.
The divorce rate is so high in Western countries.
That's true.
Why? If you think like, oh, now the relationships have shown me flames, now I need to find a white man so that I can live happily ever after. They're not living happily ever after.
That's true. I know the divorce rate in Sweden is quite high, one of the highest actually in the world.
In Western countries, it's high. It's high.
So this must tell us something.
I don't know why I don't know where that comes from. I don't know why they think that. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It's something that I wish girls could change their mentality. Honestly, girls with such mentality, I wish they could change it.
Honestly, people must just drop
Honestly, I wish they could change it.
It was quite annoying as well when I went to study in the UK. Most people were just like, oh, congratulations. But there were a lot of messages that were really improper, according to me. They were just like, and I was just like, who says I need a white person? And why is it a thing? Why should I come back with a white person? Why? So I don't know.
My sister is studying here. She's getting the same thing. Oh, get yourself a white man. She's like, why? Should I dump my boyfriend back home because now I'm studying in Australia, so I have to find a white man?
Imagine. And
that's a myth, and
it has nothing to do with
exactly. You don't buy it at the shop. It's not a sack of potatoes. You go to the shop and buy potatoes. Exactly.
Also, because we are all human beings, I don't see myself going around in particular saying I want to date a white guy. Because like I said, falling happens to you. You went to Australia to study your master's.
It happened.
And it happened.
Exactly.
You were not out there.
It only happened. No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
I hope people understand this one. So as we come to a closure,
I hope so
too. Of time. What are you going to say to our viewers about the topic that you just talked about? Just wrapping up, what would you like to say?
Interracial marriage or interracial relationship, it's just the same as any other relationship. There is no drama there. It's you fight, you argue, you go to bed not talking to each other. You still navigate the marriage life just like anyone else. You've just been married, so you know what I'm talking about. Learn to live with other person. Like it's the same. It's only the color of the skin that's different. It's only, and the girls should go like, I'm looking for a white man. There's nothing different that you'll get from a white man, honestly.
Okay.
Honestly.
Thank you for clarifying that. And thank you so much for coming to the show. And I hope my viewers enjoyed this topic so much like I did as well. Real Talk viewers, if it's your first time watching the show, please go and subscribe to the channel, leave your comments and tell us what you think about interracial relationships. And thank you for joining us. See you again next week. Bye, Mondas.
Bye.